Hey, so I just got off of work and there's a mouse somewhere in the garage. I'll try and get the thing chewed off before it gets her on anything. But wanted to do an update on the car just to show where we're at with it. Went to the junkyard, found those headlights. They're something around the same era as the rest of the car, if not a few years earlier, as I'm curious if they're from the brass era or not. We've finished welding for now. I may dress this up with a few more, well, just spot welds, just to actually clean up where we've welded in the bung to the wishbone, and we've cut and flipped them so they're up higher so that there's less bending of the actual forged 1940 Ford spindle to bring it down to where it'll actually travel below the wishbone. Oh yeah. So we've cut the old perches that used to have the mechanical brakes down just so it's a cleaner look. And we ended up using a few different pieces of bronze, well, bushing to fit in between the actual shackle and the actual perch. That way it's the solid, or it's as solid of, sorry, I found the mouse again, somewhere over there. Anyhow, that gets it to where we've got a perch that, actual front leaf and, told you. So that gets it to where we've got as solid of a leaf front suspension as we can have, but still travel and so forth. Anything else I could find online for a setup, it was like nylon or like neoprene bushings. It wasn't as precise as I wanted to make sure the front end was as solid as I could have it. So moving from that, we have basically reverse-eyed the front leaf spring now, dicing the mouse again, to where our eyelet is now above the actual rest of the leaf. So with that going on, I added an extra, well, leaf to reinforce the arch here, since we've actually de-arched the rest of the leaf packs. And the bands that actually hold all this together in line, I've ended up welding in the old holes, cleaning them up, moving, or just overall cleaning up how these are so they actually work and look pretty good again, which is where that previous video came from about welding and goofing around. Oh, yeah. One other thing I'm pretty happy with is with the leftover bronze I had from making the shackle parts, I ended up turning them down and having a conical shape to them to where they taper down to this steel sleeve that then bolts through the frame. This was a factory hole I just drilled and enlarged, so just works together and fits pretty good. Anyhow, from there, we ended up doing a bit of playing around with where the hole should be to where I still want part of what makes a 2829 Model A unique is just how the cowl shape steps in. And there's always been this little body line that they never did anything with, and yet the body line for the rest of the cowl just stayed flat and went forward. With that, I wanted to be able to have my wishbone come up from the actual beam to where it ties into the frame, and we can actually cut away the cowl and follow this line and enhance what they never really did anything with, and have it where it just curves up into where it'll be the top of the frame once we get the body channeled to where it's flush with the bottom side of the frame. Going from that, I got rid of the old like fender and step side little brackets. That was not as easy as I expected. Anyways, back to this. We welded the front side of it after cutting down some just basic like pipe, and welded the back side of it. You can still see what I used as a budget crescent wrench since I couldn't find one with the correct size to fit everything. Going from that, you'll probably laugh at this little trick. So with that, that's unhooked. This is how you open the door right now. Well, there you go. I've got to fix the rear structure of the car pretty soon, but it's kind of a neat little party trick for now. There's the back side of the weld there. It's not the prettiest. I ended up welding in the pipe before work and then realizing after going to work that I didn't clean off the metal to where I was going to weld the pipe to it. So that's my fault. It's still as solid as it needs to be because most people, as I've seen building these, don't make the forethought of running a pipe through the frame to reinforce it before they channel the backside of the frame to actually, well, make it stronger by boxing. It's forethought I'm trying to do with this to make it where it actually holds up and lasts. With that said, something I ended up getting from the junkyard that I realized was different is a 3031 actual instrument cluster is just round, while a 2829 is an oval speedometer and it actually is taller and necks down further. With that, I might just fabricate a little bit and make it where it looks like it belonged, as everything else with the shape of it is identical. And I like the fact it's still an original piece and it still works. I mean, I've spun it just a tad, but you can still see even the speedometer moves. It's not even seized. Even the little switch here, I can take it apart and refurbish and get everything working again. Moving back there, we've barely done anything, but I just took a cheap C-clamp I had and ran some bar stock I had just to hold the body up so I can actually move the car around without having anything fall off, or what's left of the body back here, which isn't much, but it'll go pretty quick once we get the front side of it done. With that said, I don't have too much else to cover for right now, but I thought you guys would want a little video covering where we're at. There we go. All right. See you guys later.